Oh my God.
Look at this guy.
I just can't, and it's been killing me because of the whole secrecy thing, because I want to go around and go like, hey, wait to get on wires. I'm open for anything. I'm ready to go. And that's about it, to be honest with you.
In today's video, we're going to be talking about Venom 3, aka Venom 3 Let There Be Spider-Man. So, if you are new around here, make sure you subscribe to never miss any Marvel, DC, pop culture based content that we try to do on a daily basis. If you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be much appreciated, and let me know, will we finally get the Spider-Man meeting with Venom in this movie? We should do, because Tom Hardy has basically said this could be the last movie he plays Venom as a standalone movie, and nothing to do with the Sony Spider-Man universe they're setting up inside the Sony universe, I guess you could say. So, also, if you could, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. And also, if you could, check us out on Twitter at WarstuG. So, we're going over a plot leak, which is actually one of my favorite videos to kind of make, which I really like making plot leak videos because 80% of the time, 80% of the information tends to be true. So, they are currently filming this movie. Thomas Hardy has shared multiple images on Instagram, then deleted them just like he does. So, Venom, or at least Eddie Brock, kind of met Spider-Man in a roundabout way in the MCU at the end of No Way Home, kind of in a roundabout way. So we know Sony are trying to build up this Sony Spider-Man universe with Madam Web, which is currently filming or has finished filming. And this ties into this movie, or at least this alleged plot leak, massively. So obviously this has come from 4chan. I'll leave the link down below if I remember. But it is worth saying that most plot leaks that appear on Reddit, 4chan, Twitter, they tend to be in a roundabout way true. I don't really understand how this information gets. I mean, I do understand. But it is wild to me how a lot of this information ends up being true, or at least a half-truth. So, this recently was posted, a standalone sequel to Madam Web, which is about the tubular character and the three Spider-Women protecting a pregnant Mary Parker and an unborn Peter Parker from time traveler Warstu. Sorry, I mean Ezekiel Sims. So, based on comic book logic, comic book lore, because we don't really know much about Ezekiel Sims in the terms of the Sony Spider-Man universe, though we have seen him on set and people thought he was a Spider-Man. So, in the comics, Ezekiel Sims was a rich businessman who in his younger years gained powers similar to those of the Spider-Man. He wanted to use his powers to become a hero, but intentionally used them to found a corporation and became a member of the Spider-Man Society. He helped Spider-Man deal with many other beings who were after the Spider-Man totems. So this goes on to say, Madam Web will be set 10 years before Venom 1, obviously going to have some connection or else they wouldn't mention it, which is why the earliest set leaks for the film have an early 2000 vibe setting. So this is where it really starts to talk about the Venom throughout this movie, well, it is a Venom movie. So Venom learns through the aforementioned multiverse hive mind that Peter Parker and Spider-Man is destined to kill them. Reference to Sammy Raimi Spider-Man. This is what earlier leaks were referring to when they said Venom / Eddie would explore the multiverse. They're simply looking through it via a symbiote vision. So there was some dialogue in No Way Home, which kind of in a roundabout way explained how Venom knows who Spider-Man is. So the director went on to say, the idea is that the symbiote has knowledge of hundreds of thousands of other universes buried in his brain, is some knowledge of that connection. And that's in a roundabout way how they know each other. So they're trying to pull on this hive mind to some degree. So as both alien and creature that has the ability to blend its cells with the host body, it certainly has access to a plane of existence that is lost to other humans, even other aliens. This information may play into Venom's future films, and it somewhat seems like here the hive-like mind, which the leak is inferring to, and the kind of, I guess you could say, throwaway line that was in No Way Home, which they kind of have recently alluded to, that Tom Holland was actually probably supposed to appear with Venom in the post-credit scene, but it went through multiple changes from the original scene. That was supposed to be Venom meeting Spider-Man at the end of No Way Home, but it did happen, but didn't really. It's just Eddie Brock is aware of Spider-Man now. Venom persuades Eddie to kidnap the 10-year-old Peter Parker of their universe in order to change their future. But Eddie refuses to harm him. Eddie stroke Venom wind up forming a bond with the 10-year-old Peter Parker and must protect him when Detective Patrick McGillen becomes toxic, goes insane, attributed to imperfect symbiotes, and sets out to destroy all monsters, including Venom, and for some reason Peter Parker. So you could say, if this is real, Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, is going to meet Venom, but a 10-year-old Peter Parker wouldn't have been bitten by a spider at this point, so it's not really Spider-Man. And the most intriguing part about this is the last few lines. At one point, Venom exposes young Peter to normal spiders, of which one bites him and causes an allergic reaction, which leads to Eddie having to take Peter to the hospital and pretend to be his father. So the way I'm taking that is, that doesn't mean he's become Spider-Man at the age of 10. It just means he's had an allergic reaction from a spider biting him. Now, for me, this seems like a really weird plot. I know Sony's trying to connect the Sony Spider-Man universe to Madam Web, Kraven Hunter, and all these other projects they're doing, building up kind of Sinister Six universe. But it would have been better to see an actual real Spider-Man, not a 10-year-old Peter Parker in the movie, but we don't know. We might get Peter Parker meeting Venom, Eddie Brock properly, like a proper Spider-Man. It has been rumored that Andrew Garfield will appear in every single Sony Marvel Spider-Man movie ever, to the point where some people are alleging that Andrew Garfield will be appearing in Venom 3 properly. But if they're going to have a young Peter Parker in this movie, that wouldn't really make much sense from a storyline. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of a random story, but there was so much more to find out about this plot. But it seems okay, but there isn't really much you can say about it until we know full details, and it is 4chan stuff. But like we said before, most plot leaks in the last 5 to 6 years, and whilst I've been covering all this pop culture content, most of it tends to be somewhat truthful. And the fact that it's linking it to Madam Web, it does make a lot of sense, to be honest. Also in the news. So the thing is with covering these plot leaks is there's going to be multiple plot leaks. So there's another plot leak that was posted about 30 days ago, which also brings up the fact that Detective McGullen is going to be Toxin, which the shorter plot leak said. So it says during Eddie's fight, Eddie meaning Venom, with Toxin, he got a brief glimpse at the host within it and realizes it's Detective McGovern. Eddie resolves to find out where he resides using his investigating journalism skill as Peter gathers supplies to build weapons to combat Toxin. So the big difference in this plot leak here is in this plot leak, now take it with a pinch of salt, is Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker, right at the start of the movie, shifts into an alley in New York City after returning from the MCU. He's immediately confronted with the run-of-the-mill muggers, which he remarks as classical New York, and defeats them. The victim runs off screaming for help when Spidey follows up with them as he exits the alley, swings around the city. He notices something. This isn't his city, and it's clear from the publicity reaction to his appearance, he's not the name brand he was in his own New York, and he realizes he's returned to a different universe. So I don't know what to believe, but this one is a bit more far-fetched. Movie starts with Eddie and Venom returning to the Sony-verse after the events of No Way Home in a similar Tahiti bar with a different bartender and decorations. They're still very drunk and on set finding Spider-Man. So Eddie stumbles out of his trip back to mainland United States. So the plots are still similar here, where Toxin is still going to be the overall villain. But in this plot leak, Venom and Spider-Man have a lot of interactions, and it's made clear that it's Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man. Now, the reason I'm a bit sus, and the reason why I don't really believe this one is, if Andrew Garfield was going to be in the movie, he'd have to be on set. I believe they're still shooting in England, in London, with Tom Hardy. So if that was going to be happening, they couldn't really keep that a secret, because Andrew, Toby, when they were shooting for No Way Home, they couldn't keep that a secret from anyone. So if I remember, I will leave both down below. I don't necessarily record the videos on the same day I post them. So when I say if I remember, it means normally I record the video a day or two ahead of actually posting it. But I did want to mention this one because it's still possible Andrew Garfield did return for a substantial role in No Way Home. So this could in theory be true. But the interesting thing in this part here is the post-credit scene or the ending. Spider-Man and Venom follow Toxin leads as he hunts down the monster he and Patrick had originally came to New York City to hunt. They corner this monster who turns out to be Gerard Leto, Morbius the Living Vampire. Now, I know what you're going to say, but you've got to understand, Sony's endgame is not Tom Holland. Tom Holland's the MCU Spider-Man, sure. And at some point, Tom Holland will come over to the Sony Spider-Man universe. But Sony's endgame here is Spider-Geddon. Sure, we understand that. But they're trying to build up the other Spider-Man villains and everything attached to Spider-Man universe. So this could be true. I mean, if I get enough people ask me down below, I will probably go over this. But the only real difference in both these plot leaks is one is about helping Peter Parker as a 10-year-old. And this one is Spider-Man fully probably being in the movie and helping Venom take down Toxin. Now, do I believe that it would take Spider-Man and Venom to take down Toxin? No, but it's an interesting take. And to be honest, they've only just started shooting. This other plot leak was posted early February. Most of the comments don't really believe it. I doubt we'll ever see all living action Spider-Man together for years. Well, we see it in No Way Home. So I thought I'd briefly mention it. Like I said, I will leave it down below if I remember. But let me know if you want me to go over this full alleged plot leak. It could be real, but they're both very different, but still both have similarities. So I thought I'd mention this one as it is more interesting. I doubt Andrew Garfield is fully fledged going to appear in this movie, but I still could see him appearing in this movie in some capacity, even if it's a post-credit scene. But because of what they're doing in Madam Web, the first plot leak we went over does make a lot more sense and it's more consistent because Madam Web, very important to the Sony Spider-Man, to the Spidey-Verse in a way. So that makes much more sense than it being about Andrew Garfield, Peter Parker. I mean, I hope it's true, but I don't think it's true. But I thought I'd put it out there because there's always people saying, yeah, he's already signed on. He's doing another movie. He's going to appear in Venom 3. If he does, it would make sense. But as I said, Madam Web storyline, following up from Madam Web would make much more sense. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. Check us out on Twitter. Warstu G. And I will catch ya in another video very soon. Catch ya later.